Welcome back to Cooking with Chef Wes. Now, I got a request last time to tell a funny, crazy tattoo story while I prepare a delicious meal for you. So, this is the first time we're going to give it a try. First off, though, we're cooking, so you know what's up. Cheers. Today's menu is going to be my take on pizza. We're going to be using Spanish cured meats, Iberian jamon, Spanish salami, chorizo. We are going to go with the standard Italian mozzarella. We do have some Asiago because I love Asiago. We're going to finish this dish off with arugula. We've got a little red sauce, Mama Giovanna's recipe that I learned, back in 1991 when I was first trying to impress a date, and a waitress who was fresh off the boat from Italy gave me this recipe. I still use it to this day. That's another recipe here to come. And I've got some dough that I had frozen. If you don't have dough, feel free to buy some. You can even use some of that bobolini, whatever it is. I also have a greased pan. So let's get going. So first off, we're going to stretch the dough, and I'm going to attempt to tell you a story while I bake these pizzas. So a question I get all the time is, has anybody ever walked out on a tattoo unfinished? I'm working the pizza dough here, and the answer is yes, I have one time. So this gentleman comes in. This is years ago. He's probably, I don't know, 18. Thinks he's tough as balls, got his wife beater on, got that attitude. You know the drill. I was there too, passing no judgment. First tattoo he's ever going to have. And he wants his name. And I forget his name, but all I know is it begins with an R. So for the sake of this story, we're going to call him Randall. All right. Now I'm putting this dough on a pre-greased with olive oil sheet pan. We're actually going to make 2 small pizzas. So he wants Randall on the side of his neck, okay? And this is back in 2003, 2004, before tattoos are super popular. So, you know, we tell them, we're like, A, hey, that's a pretty aggressive spot pain-wise to get your first tattoo. B, here in the tattoo industry, we call it the job stopper. You sure you don't want it anywhere else? He's like, no, man, I want it on my fucking neck. We're like, all right, rock and roll. So I'm not doing the tattoo, but I'm in the room. And he's going to get it in script. Next up, Mama Giovanna sauce. Here's a trick of the trade for making a good pizza. We're going to treat the sauce just like we treat the aftercare product. Not too much. The number one mistake tattoo clients make when healing their tattoo is too much aftercare. Number one mistake people make when making a pizza with fantastic toppings is too much sauce. We don't want it to overpower all these flavors we're building. We're just smoothing out the sauce, getting it evenly spread on our pre-greased sheet pan. Give you a little shot. See? Not too much sauce. So we're like, okay. So who's ever up? I forget who's doing it. They lay him down on his side. They put the stencil on his neck. He checks it out in the mirror. He's like, fuck yeah. Hard as fuck, right? If you're familiar with script, it's kind of wavy and curly. So the tattooer gets the first curly part of the R done. And this gentleman passes out cold. We got to use a smelling salt, wake him up, give him a juice box. Next box on the pizza, we're throwing in a little bit of mozzarella. Got to have cheese on the pizza, right? So we're throwing in some buffalo mozzarella. I've got the chorizo We're going to spread this out evenly on the pizza. Going to give it some nice spice, some nice heat. Trust me, you're going to love this pizza recipe. I love pepperoni, but fuck pepperoni. This pizza is going to be fucking awesome. Next, we're going to go with the Spanish salami. Also, in case you're wondering what we're drinking today while we're cooking, a Rioja, native to Spain, sticking with the tradition. We'll get to the Iberian jamon in a second. So he passes out. We got to wake him up with a smelling salt, right? Give him a juice box, low sugar. No big deal, man. People pass out. It happens. 99.9% of the time, we get them feeling good, put a cold rag on their head. They're like, I'm good to go. We explain, hey, it's not a big deal. This kid's like, fuck this. I'm out of here. Gets up, bolts with literally a swirl on the neck. The R is not even completed. Next up, Iberian jamon. If you've never been to Spain and you get a chance, they serve these Iberian jamon sandwiches. It's simply a baguette. It's like their version of prosciutto with Iberian jamon and a little bit of cheese or butter or olive oil. Sounds simple, right? Unfucking believable. You will want to eat one every fucking day. That's what I did for 18 straight days. I made sure I would ditch meals to have an Iberian jamon baguette when we were in Spain. My wife thought I was joking. Nope, it happened. 18 days, 18 Iberian jamon baguettes. So where were we on the story? Oh, that's right. So he bolts. 6 months later, I'm tattooing a gal. She has a friend with her. Not uncommon. Not uncommon for me to ask, hey, how'd you hear about us? And the friend says, oh, my ex-boyfriend recommended you, told me he got tattooed here, and you'll definitely remember who he is. So I'm thinking, oh, this is a guy who gets a sleeve or a back piece, like is in every 2 weeks. He's kind of a friend of the shop, a local. I'm thinking, okay, who is it? And he's like, well, it's this dude, like I said, we'll call him Randall. Came in to get the tattoo on the side of his neck, Randall. And at the very beginning of the tattoo, SWAT kicked down your back door and front door because he had a warrant out for his arrest. And they drug him out of the shop mid-tattoo. Now, kudos. Way to keep street cred. That story is fucking amazing on his part. But I did notice when she said that, ex-boyfriend. So I kind of chuckled to myself. Next up, grated Asiago. Like everything we cook, salt and pepper. I'm using a little Celtic sea salt. Fresh cracked black pepper. Just a little bit. Don't use the pre-cracked stuff. It sucks. All right. That's a good Rioja. The other thing you're going to find is Riojas are underrated, so they're super cheaply priced. You can find good Riojas for $8 to $12. So where were we? Okay. So I chuckle because she says it's her ex-boyfriend who had SWAT pull her out of the shop, right? So I say, I'm like, you said this is your ex-boyfriend, right? She's like, yeah. I was like, would you like to know the real story about what happened, why he didn't get his name tattooed? She's like, yeah. I was like, well, the tattoo doing it He passed out in the first 3 seconds. We woke him up with the smelling salt and gave him a juice. And unlike most people who then continued the tattoo, he bolted. She smiled like a Cheshire cat. She's like, he's got pool league tonight with his boys. I'm going there and I'm calling him the fuck out in front of all of his boys on that bullshit story. So that's my crazy story. Hope you've been following this recipe. Now we're going to put the pizza in the oven. Notice arugula is going to go on last. We're going 400 degrees. We're going to check it about 10 to 12 minutes. We'll see what happens. I'll catch you next. All right?